All right, guys, what's up, and welcome to Tactical Ashigarami TV. I hope you enjoy the unboxing angle that we're going to be using today, so you guys can get a good viewpoint of what we got in front of us. Now, just as a disclaimer, before we go forward and before we talk about anything, everything that you will see in this video is 100% an imitation. It is not real. These are airsoft toy parts, okay? Just to get the disclaimer out of the way. This one is going to be, relatively exciting. And I'm anticipating that this video is going to be an awesome video. At least, yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome video. I've been waiting for this one for quite a long time, and this is actually the first GHK airsoft rifle toy, okay, that I've ever gotten. So this one is pretty awesome. It's been highly touted as something that is, really, really cool. We got a lot of things going on here. So yeah, man, I'm super, super excited about this one for sure. Shout out to JK Army once again for providing what I believe is the best quality right now by far in terms of, sending out airsoft orders. And they pretty much hooked up this box with quite a few bits, so we're gonna get into that right now. As far as the information that's concerned in regards to the declaration letters, everything like that, all the other information has been separated and put elsewhere. So we're just gonna get into the box right now. Let's open this up and give you guys a look-see. All right. You guys really want to see what's going on up in here with this. So if you guys have probably been on YouTube, or you've been watching, if you know, well, you should know what is in the box. But this has pretty much hit the internet now for a few weeks, and they've been popping up all around Japan and pretty much all over Asia. And this particular model is only for sale in Asia. So for those of you guys that are in the States, I don't know how you're gonna get your hands on these. You might have to import them and do some magic. I will also try my best not to do any manipulations in this video, because the Glock video, unfortunately, I believe it got demonetized. So there will be no manipulations in this video, just the unboxing for sure. So, you guys will be able to see what's up in here, and then anything else that you guys want to see is going to be done in another video for sure. Or, in terms of like, maybe some functionality tests and stuff like that, we'll upload them, probably to Patreon or somewhere else. But this is well packaged. Ay, ay, ay. These guys always do me right by the packaging, so you gotta expect what to be expected. All right, so here it is. As you guys can see, got the black box. Oh, this is a long wrapper. Oh, there you go, baby. HK. No compromise. This is it. So as you guys can see right there, let me get this out of the way. I don't need this anymore. This box I'm definitely familiar with, because it is the Umarex style box, at least the smaller one for the HK Umarex products. This is a lot larger, and as you can see, just like the GHK box, you have the GHK manual right here that you can just pretty much just scan, and you can get into that manual stuff. All right. Other than that, I'd say it's pretty standard. Okay. This is definitely a production model. This was a pre-order. There should be quite a few things in this that they did pack. Okay. I'm trying to figure out which way I'm gonna open this. How do I get confused by a box? Okay. So it doesn't open out like the BCM one. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. That's impressive. All right, we'll just slide it this way. So it slides out like this. Here we go. Jeez, and we got quite a few bits in here, man. Quite a few bits in this box. Not that many. We got one warning label. Okay, don't brandish in public. That's pretty obvious. And here she is. Okay. So, as per usual, the thing I love about JK Army is, you know, when you get stuff through them, they send you a bunch of things and you get a whole lot in terms of value. Right here we got quite a bit, so we're just gonna sort of go through, like, we're gonna go through exactly what's in here. Quite a few stuff in here. So we got this. We got JK Army's anniversary patch, and this is their 12th anniversary patch. This is pretty awesome. As you can see right there, these guys, man, I just love the way they just always provide value. Like, you know, I don't want to mention other companies, but you guys obviously know what I went through recently. And I think a lot of other companies should just take notes, right? So I got all this cool stuff for free, basically. With everything, just the whole entire cost and the value is just the rifle itself, with all this other stuff included. Alrighty, here we got a little hydration pack. We can put this on the belt. I think, yeah. It looks durable. This would probably be a good little item for a milsim. You can have something like this little satchel or whatever the case is. Yeah, this looks really cool. So I might just put this on my belt. This is pretty dope. Durable, versatile, and reliable. Cordura fabric. Okay. All right. But this is not what you're here to see. You're here to see this. Okay. So right away, as you guys have seen with a lot of the other unboxings, that you can probably, definitely, actually not even probably, but you can definitely find on the internet by now. All of the bits are in the same place. The model that you're looking at right now, this is the Deluxe model. There's a DX and there's a standard. I believe one of the main differences between the DX and the standard is obviously the steel parts, right? Which this does pretty much offer. Like, this handguard is really, really good. Oh, this looks nice, man. This is sick. Okay. We also have with us a heavy recoil kit. This looks like a loader. There's a weight, buffer weight. And I believe everything here is pretty much the buffer assembly. Pretty much, yeah. The steel one is probably inside. This could be the stock one. I could be wrong. I think that they probably, the steel one is probably inside here. This definitely looks like, it definitely looks like the stock buffer. I could be wrong, but anyways, essentially, if you're going to be running CO2 in this, you have to use the heavier weight parts that they do give you. Pretty much, you have to use that option for CO2. So you have your recoil assembly right here, everything that you need for your heavy recoil, and your loader as well. This is pretty cool. So we'll get through that. We'll look at that, you know, when the time comes. Here you have your hop adjustment tool. The hop is adjusted from the chamber inside the breech. And we'll peel through the plastic right here. And we'll look at these bits, okay? It's 416. This is my very first 416, surprisingly. I never had one for Airsoft before. Okay. And this is the Gen 3 polymer magazine. This looks pretty cool. So as you guys can see here, this has all of the HK trades on it, right? You got the HK marking here. You got the HK marking on the other side. And I believe at the bottom. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a lot of detail. So you got HK all over this thing. We're not going to take it apart or expose it. We're just going to look at what's inside of here. There's the feed lips right there. And this is the green gas magazine. Judging by the weight, I can definitely tell that it's high quality and it's really light. I'm not familiar with GHK's magazine type overall. I believe that some of the magazines in the past, some people have had issues with them, especially their CO2 magazines. But what I can definitely tell you about this one is that so far in hand, it's very light and the quality of the other polymer is very high based on what I can feel right now. I believe that this is dual system, so it does run on both CO2 and green gas, as you guys probably know. But from what I understand, the magazine technology, especially in this magazine, because this is the one that most people are going to use, there are 2 tanks. So this enables you to refill the magazine and to charge it a lot faster compared to other gas magazines. But primarily, because I'm in Japan, I'm not going to be running green gas, unfortunately. So it's pretty much going to be duster with this magazine until I get a hold of a CO2 magazine, and then I put it on, which might take some time. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So I guess it'll take time pretty much to understand, a whole lot of what's going on with this. But so far, I'm very impressed. Yeah, this polymer magazines, they feel really nice. This is about the same weight. For those of you who have BCM, Gbbrs, if you have the what's it called? The VMag, they're like the polymer version of the almost like the real steel looking 556 mags for the VFC M4s. Basically, they're the same weight. They feel almost exactly the same. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Let's put that right there. Alrighty, so let's look at the main event. All right. Okay, whoa. This feels really hefty. Get her out. And there she is. Oh, wow. This is really nice. Okay. So this is coming from a long way, so we do got to wipe it down. There's some styrofoam and some packaging on it, but from what I can tell you right now, the quality of the construction on this is very, very strong, as you can see. I'm not going to be doing any manipulations, no magazine insertions or racking of the charging handle or anything like that. As you can see right there, this is looking really nice. So this is the polymer stock that I believe that's on most of the A5s. This one is really nice. It feels lightweight. There's a little bit of play in it. It feels a little bit like one of the AEG stocks. It's definitely a lot looser to me than the Gunfighter, but I think we'll definitely keep this one on here for now. I don't think we're going to be getting rid of that for sure. One of the key features on the 416, especially on this one, is the QD handguard, right? Which we're going to get into in a little bit. We're just going to start from the bottom. I also like the quality here in terms of the texturing with the stock that you have as you sort of go down this way. And also you have the grip surfaces on the back, which should enable you to get a nice purchase when you put this into your shoulder. So we're going to see how this overall, how it feels, because as I can imagine, because there's so many quality metal parts in here, that essentially when you do run CO2 or something like that, the quality of the blowback is going to be definitely something that you're going to have to acknowledge. So we'll see how that feels when we're running it. All right. Okay. So we have the castle nut here. Okay. And here we have the mount for the sling here on the back, or the sling point. So this one is really nice. I'm not gonna say that I'm a huge fan of this particular type of sling point. I prefer the BCM ones right now. They're really convenient because you have the QD point where you just attach, you know, your sling into the back, and you can essentially just take your sling off and sort of run at just 2 point. So I've been running 2 point now almost this whole entire year. And on some occasion, I do run the sling points like this on, for example, like the Mark 18. So the Mark 18 and this HK416 they're about the same in length. So you're talking about pretty much an SBR size in terms of, you know, length and overall functionality. Now, the thing about it is, when you have this kind of setup, especially if you're playing CQB, it's really, really, really convenient when you have to switch shoulders, right? And it's also easier to do that when you have a slimmer stock. When you have a heavier stock, not so much. So that'll probably be one of the good things about, I guess, having it like this. I guess so, right? Another thing I like about this so far is the grip. The texturing on it feels really good. My fingers at the bottom feel very comfortable, even though like I'm not wearing gloves right now, and I can get my whole hand around it just like this. So this is something that for me, it's very difficult for me to do this with the standard A2 M4 grip, which is one of the reasons why whenever I do get the A2 grips on my, let's say, M4s, for example, usually if I can, I take them off. So currently for my Mark 18 and for my NWS, both of those are Tokyo Marui. I currently have a Magpul grip on. This is the 416 grip. I believe this is on the Delta 2 as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think on the VFC version of the A5, you have the same exact grip. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna really enjoy, you know, holding this a lot. I like what they did there. The fire selector also is really accessible, and also the lower receiver. You might not be able to tell on the video, but it's really slim. So I can essentially, just by holding it with one hand, I can access the controls on this side, and these are ambi as well. So you can, you know, manipulate the fire selector from the right and from the left. So this is going to be huge, right? Because usually, you know, when you're, you know, running M4s and stuff like that, you can only manipulate the fire selector from one side. So that's something that's really cool. It's really nice with the European feature. So as you guys can see here, like the cool thing about getting, you know, licensed stuff is that you get all the trades, right? So just almost like the, what was it? The MR556, which is pretty much the civilian version of the 416 that's available right now. This has pretty much the same exact trades that particular HK product has. So if you look closely, the HK logo is on the exact same point on the handguard as the MR556. So essentially, you know, you know, with this, you're getting just the, I guess, the militarized version instead. But in terms of what's going on underneath, you know, that once again, I'm not going to take this handguard off. All right. We have everything here. We'll get rid of this later. I'm not going to do it now. But as you can see there, Heckler & Koch, GmbH, made in Germany. You have all that there. And then on the other side, you have your HK markings as well on the lower receiver, HK416, Cal 556, even though it's an airsoft toy. And you have HK here on the top, on the upper portion, here on the upper part, on the right on the upper, you have like this dedicated code. I think, I don't know if these are random on each product. I'm gonna assume that they're the same, like that's pretty much production. I don't think that's like a serial number, but you know, that's pretty much what that is, right? And then the thing that really drew me to this was the handguard, right? So as you guys do know, like M-lock is the thing right now. Everybody currently at the moment is running M-lock, whether it's, you know, the M4A1, you know, Geisley's, BCMs, Ergies. It's everything right now. M-lock is like the future. It's light. A lot of the materials that they use now, especially for airsoft, are very durable. And for mil spec, can you say mil spec? Essentially, mil spec replicas. I would say that for mil spec replicas, you can run potentially, I believe, without doing any shimming or milling or anything like that. You can essentially run your mil spec handguards and charging handles in those other type of models. I don't know about this one, right? So I'm going to assume that everything on here is for airsoft use only. So that's pretty much what my understanding is, as you can see there. And there's the flash hider. You have the regular, almost stock birdcage one. This one is going to come off for me because I'm going to attach a QD muzzle device on here. And as you guys can see, you have this what they call this again. Basically this doesn't have a function, but it's the same as the gas system on the regular HK416, where it enables you to switch it from suppressed to non-suppressed. I will be attaching a device. So right now it's currently on suppressed, which is interesting. Well, I guess that's because this is on there, but I will be putting a device on it, so it'll be suppressed for sure. Um, Overall, I would say it definitely feels really light, a lot lighter than I expected. Maybe a little bit dry, which is kind of interesting. I know usually with some M4s, and you do get them that are non-marui, they do have a lot of grease, but this one, interestingly, doesn't really have a lot of grease on the outside, but I do see some grease there inside of the bolt carrier group. Okay, so we'll definitely see what's up with that for sure, 100%. So yeah, you have a ton of rail space here on the top. I do not plan on putting a whole lot of stuff on there. As you guys know, I am a weight conscious airsofter when it comes to my gear. So usually for me, what does the trick is, you know, the optic, a light, and basically that's it. I don't really do the pec boxes and the lasers. That's cool, but you know, because I'm running around, I'm doing a lot. As you guys can see in my videos, I'm outside and stuff. I don't generally tend to use a lot of different attachments, especially on my primaries. I don't really do that much. So I think it's a little bit cumbersome and definitely, I wouldn't say wasteful, but a little bit troublesome, you know? So I'm all about, you know, how I train is how I fight. How I fight is how I perform. And, you know, I might do my trainings or my sessions with the heavier setup. And then, you know, when it counts, I transition to the lighter setup, no problem. And that's usually how that works. But this is very interesting. The length on this is also really cool. It's not that long. Essentially, it's about the length maybe of, you know, from what I can see it right now, man, like the MP5 SD. This thing, it looks, I mean, on some of the videos that they post on YouTube, you know, this looks a lot longer, right? I would say this handguard just by itself, you can look at my hand right here, is maybe about 9 inches, maybe not even. So it's very short. So I would say, yeah, definitely ideal for CQB for sure. I'm interested to see how the accuracy on this is and how it holds up at long range with heavier BBs, especially with lower velocity, fields and lower velocity, and obviously lower powered gas. So in my case, essentially, I won't be running green gas, but primarily I didn't really get this build for skirmishing. Interestingly enough, this primarily, you know, like the whole purpose of this build is for training, right? Essentially to experience manipulating recoil on something that really gives you that feedback. And from what I understand and what I heard, GHK offers that experience. So that's pretty much, I would say, from what I understand, one of the main purposes of going with a GHK. Now, from what I understand, also their V3 system is also very improved. Now, as I mentioned before in the Glock video, I don't have a whole lot of a basis to work off of in terms of the V3 and the V2 and the V1. For the Glock system, they're on the V2. This is the V3. I don't know about the previous generations and exactly what they changed. My understanding is that this has pretty much been improved, where you have an overall a better firing group that's a lot more robust, lighter, and also more importantly durable. Because when you do invest in airsoft, for whatever reason, my assumption is that you want your products to last. At least, definitely, in my case, that's something that I would want for sure. So with that being said, that's essentially, what my goal is in terms of, what I'm running or whatever I'm running, whatever the case is. I want, my products to be able to perform for that desired purpose. So that's what I'm going to be looking for with this. And, I expect no different, man. From what I understand, there's some other companies out there, Garter included. I don't know about Lilacs. There's another one that I heard a YouTuber mention recently. I've been watching his channel a lot. Yeah, Middle Age Gamer. It starts with an S. Maybe you guys know what he's talking about. It just slipped my mind, but they're going to be making some more products for this particular GHK because it's very new. So from what I understand, there's going to be some different accessories, some things where you can have better mounting options, especially for slings. I'm still thinking about, how I'm going to sling this up, right? So, just looking at this right now, I can see that here I'm going to assume this is a QD point. There's one here and one here. So this is really cool too as well, right? Because I guess if they do it like this, essentially if you're left or right-handed, you can still run it, any way you want because it's airsoft. So there's no shell coming out of the breech. So you don't have to worry about that at all, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's nice. So you could sling it, I guess, from here. And then, yeah, it would be nice to get something here. But for me, I don't think I'm going to be using the stock to sling this at all. What I might do, I'm thinking about it right now as I look at it, is I might just remove the sling point at the base and I might swap this out for a BCM. And as far as this charging handle is concerned, I mean, I don't like it. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. This is all right, I guess. When I saw, the type of charging handle that was on this, I'm like, okay. Essentially, I might just switch this out for a BCM one, if it's possible. I might swap that out for a BCM charging handle in that case. I just think, from my opinion, like if you're gonna make something like this ambi, if you want to have an M4 style platform, whatever you want to call it, anything is M4 style. If you want it to be truly ambi, you gotta make the whole thing ambi. When you run an ambi charging handle, what it enables you to do is it enables you to rack, you know, essentially the M4 from either side, whether it's from the left or from the right. But you know you have to reach over in order to manipulate that. So we're not going to fully manipulate it. But yeah, this is interesting. Very nice. I think GHK has done an interesting job. They definitely hit it out the park in terms of realism and quality, for sure. And this is really nice. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I think the trades on it are really what a lot of people really want to see. So as you guys can see there, I'll give you a close-up, right? There's the HK. It's probably the best part of the handguard right there is the right-hand side. And that's the handguard right there. So you guys can get a good look, all right? I'm not going to take the handguard off. Yes, it is quick detach. I'll do that in another video, but not this one, okay? And that's the other side. And this is M-lock. This is M-lock. There's a switch there. I'll turn it around so you guys can see. Right. Now, it's a little bit dirty right now because it just came out the box. I got to wipe it down and clean it because the packaging is still on it there. But there's a piston on the top, as you guys can see. Right? A lot of people really want this handguard. And it's a cool handguard, don't get me wrong. It's light and all that. It's pretty neat. Okay, and that's the top. And yes, and another good thing is the Cerakote. From what I understand, from what I've seen from, my stuff that's Cerakoted, yeah, the Cerakote lasts really long. I can guarantee you that the Cerakote, on any one of your Airsoft products is going to last a lot longer than you. So, having Airsoft with Cerakote is pretty cool. You can sort of run it, not really run it hard. I wouldn't advise you to, but it definitely gives you that option to where you can sort of run your Airsoft toys outside, or maybe in certain situations that are not as favorable. And you don't have to worry that much about, really damaging or breaking anything. There's a lot of steel parts on this particular GHK, including the barrel, I believe is one-piece steel. The charging handle. Is it the charging handle? No, the charging handle is Cerakote. I'm sorry. The bolt carrier group. There you go. The bolt carrier is one-piece steel. This thing here that binds the charging handle is also steel. The hammer, as well as the whole entire firing group and the lower receiver, is also steel, as well as the trigger. And you also have your bolt release here, I believe, on the left and right hand side, which is really cool. I don't know if the forward assist is functional on this. I want to assume that it is, but what's interesting is that on my VFC BCM, which is a Mark II, it is completely cosmetic. The only system that I've seen that has a functional forward assist, knock on wood, that I've seen is a Tokyo Model E system, where literally at times, if my bolt doesn't move all the way and it does choke, I have had instances where I was able to hit the button on the forward assist in order to send the bolt back into the right position. So yeah, this is awesome. I like this whole entire package very much in terms of its length and its weight. It's very, very nice. Very nice. Very ideal, I think, for mid to long range. Now, in terms of the accuracy, I was watching, once again, Middle-Aged Gamer, and He did an accuracy test on his videos. A few other guys I've seen that I've online that I've had the gun now for quite some time, about a few weeks. There's another Japanese YouTuber too. I don't know his name, but I've seen people, using these stock parts. I think the only changes that they have made is just, maybe the inclusion of just all of the hard recoil firing stuff that comes in the box with the CO2 magazine, which I don't have yet, but they've shown the ability. They have shown the ability to shoot, I would say, really tight groups at 20 to 30 meters, which is amazing, I think, for this. So you don't need anything done on this whatsoever. This is coming at you extremely accurate out of the box, which is just incredible. I just hope that I have the same experience when I'm running this outside, if I'm doing any type of outdoor play or outdoor shooting. I don't have access to an outdoor range, but if I'm able to get any outdoor footage for you guys on the channel, I will definitely try my best to do it with this particular setup, because I know a lot of people want to run this outdoors, maybe not so much indoors. I think in a sense, maybe both indoor and outdoor, but maybe more in a sense outdoors. When I look at this overall, just the whole entire build, this to me looks like an outdoor gun. Like, this is something you're gonna run outdoors for sure. But once again, for those of you guys who are looking into maybe the standard, I think what you're gonna get is gonna be a little bit different in terms of quality with the metal. I don't know how the quality of the zinc parts is going to look. So everything here that you see, as advertised, according to what they said, is steel. So it's just a matter of really seeing, what this thing really has going on for it, man. In terms of quality, for sure. So if you guys have any requests in regards to the GHK HK416A5, let me know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see shooting tests? Do you want to see indoor play? Do you want to see outdoor play? Do you want to see a training? Do you want to see some CO2 gameplay? Whatever it is. I think the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add on, a few of my own attachments that I want to add on to this, like maybe a suppressor, optic for sure, and a sling. Still undecided on what I'm going to do with sling, but definitely a sling for sure. I have a dedicated sling for this already. And yeah, more than likely it's going to be all about just getting the training footage first. So we'll take this thing down essentially, and we'll see what it looks like inside. But absolutely, if you have any questions whatsoever about this, once again, make sure you drop your comments. As far as links are concerned, there's nothing I want to touch on, because somebody mentioned links in one of the other videos. I do not post links in the comment section anymore. I know some people do, but me personally, I've gotten a lot of trouble for doing it. And, unfortunately, my luck isn't like everyone else's. It's just what it is. So if you guys want links, I will be posting links, for anything that you guys want, in terms of, performance stuff. All that's going to be on Patreon. So I'm not going to be posting links, on YouTube anymore. Not like that. Not really. Because that's just going to cause a bunch of problems. So in reference to that, that's where you'll find that. And there will be another detailed video with this. So we're going to be looking at the internals. The internals video will be in the members, as well as the comparison between the V3 lower for both the VFC M4 and for the GHK M4, which I guess you can sort of consider this a GHK M4, right? There's going to be a comparison between the GHK and between the VFC. My understanding is there are just little nuances in terms of, you know, the firing group, the hammer, the trigger set, everything in terms of the lower, obviously to the buffer as well with this, because this is heavy recoil. So the buffer system is going to be very different. So we'll take a look at that and we'll see, you know, what the situation is. I believe that what's inside this right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the heavy buffer and the whole entire buffer assembly should be the heavy recoil one. So we'll take it apart for sure, and we'll definitely look at that. If you guys have any questions, once again, make sure that you drop those comments. All right. Yeah, and man, I'm really, really excited. It's been a long time since I've been excited to shoot anything gas blowback in a few years. The last time I was this excited was when I got my first NWS from Tokyo Model like about 6 years ago or something. But what we're seeing right now is these other companies, for the first time in a while, they're really going head to head, and they're all putting out quality products from each side, whether it's GHK, VFC, Tokyo Model, you name it. They are each putting out some really, really good stuff. There's a few other models that I saw that I was really interested in, you know, on the GHK side, like the Daniel Defense. I think it's the V7, whatever it's called, the long handguard one, the long handguard M-Lock Daniel. That one was just amazing. But for me, it was a choice. It was either I was going to go with the Daniel Defense or the HK. But I saw some comments online and some stuff, and I said, wow, I said, you know, well, a lot of people seem to be really interested in the airsoft world, not the real steel world, but the SIG spear or the 416. And I said to myself, well, in my case, you know, I had a little issue with, you know, the last SIG, which is my first and last SIG, probably going to be my last SIG that I tried to get, and then I wound up, you know, going with the H&K. So I believe that, you know, my decision is going to be a solid one. So I'm really excited, you know, to see what the future holds so far. But yeah, first impressions, really light, definitely not heavy. The handguard looks really cool. It's a little dirty. I gotta clean that, as you guys can see there. It's all over there on the Picatinny rail. That's gotta get cleaned. Not that bad out the box. It's also a little bit dry. The Cerakote looks really good. The fire selector looks really nice. The trades look awesome. So I'm super excited for that. There's a stock grip on the stock as well. Flip that around. You guys can see under. Yes, there's a compartment inside that grip. And there's a magwell. Literally everything is like mil spec on this. So cool. Yeah. So nice. Yeah. I have some parts I'm going to put on this. You guys are going to have to wait and see, you know, what I decide to put on here. It's a surprise, but I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to look really, really awesome. So once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Tactical Shigarami TV, all right? And in my opinion, you know, the people who support, who watch the channel, who watch my videos, you know, thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you guys. So, you know, you guys know I don't ask for money. I just want you guys to just hit that like button, watch the content, let me know what you guys think, and keep supporting in that way. So guys, thank you so much. All right, and this is the GHK 416A5 by GHK. You guys take care. See you guys soon.